The issue of immigration, tackling a problem which neither of the other two parties appear to be willing to target, namely the issue of the nearly 1 million people who are illegally in this country. And finally, on the issue of Trident, not making an unqualified decision to replace the existing system with another system without including the whole question in the forthcoming strategic defence review that all parties consider is necessary after the next election. These are three very sharp differences with the other two.
What does that actually mean? What does that mean? Is it kicking it into the long grass, or is it actually going for a smaller nuclear platform? Because the Lib Dems are selling it to students that they're against Trident. They are in favour of a smaller nuclear platform. Thus, they are misleading the electorate. Students are voting in their droves because they think they're against Trident.
Well, I recommend you to look at the paper which I produced for Nick Clegg, which is on the party's website. What we say is this: it's not necessary now to take the decision to replace a Cold War weapon with another Cold War weapon. It's the purpose of Trident. The purpose of Trident was to eliminate Moscow. Now, is that something that we think we're likely to want to do in the foreseeable future? And why are we not putting this issue into the defence review? Right at the heart of the defence review is, what kind of country do we want to be? Do we want to be a country which is continuing with the same Cold War deterrent at a time when the United States and Russia have recently signed another treaty to reduce their holdings of nuclear weapons, when the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Review Conference is starting in a few weeks? And what we say is that you must put this into the defence review and subject it to rational scrutiny. Not just us who say that. 4 generals wrote to the Times yesterday. And Sir Richard Dannat, who may well be a minister in the next Tory government, if there is a Tory government, has already said it may be the right decision now, but it might not be justifiable in 5 years' time.
Let's just keep with this argument for a moment. William Hague, and then come to you.
Well, I think this is an area where Nick Clegg and the Liberal Party, the Liberal Democrats, are absolutely wrong, because they are unable to say, you're unable to say, what you would do instead of having Trident. And the trouble with that, let me explain to you what the trouble with this is.
We can use
first of all,
that
developing a different nuclear weapons system, since that does seem to be the intention, other Liberal spokesmen have said they do believe in a nuclear deterrent. A different weapons system is just as likely to be more expensive than Trident as it is to be cheaper, because instead of buying one from the United States, you have to develop an entirely new system. What is more, you have to have a new warhead for that system. And that is almost very likely to be in breach of the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty, because to develop a new nuclear warhead and test it out now goes against that very important non-proliferation treaty. So I think once you look into the detail, you can see that this is not a sustainable policy for a real government.
It is a sustainable
Yvette Cooper.
But I think this was an example, actually, of where Nick Clegg sounded well-intentioned, but where actually the policy is flaky. And I think that you have to be able to say, well, what is your alternative? You can't just keep putting off a decision on something like this, because it takes many years to get, replacement equipment in. And you cannot simply put these decisions back into endless reviews and duck them if you're wanting to be serious about government. And in the end, whatever your alternative is, does raise all of the risks that William pointed out about it potentially costs you more. It also potentially increases the number of warheads. And actually, we should be reducing the number of warheads as part of a multilateral debate with the US, with Russia, and we should be part of that argument.